Hello everyone, Turner Burner here with another video for you guys. This is going to be a condensed version of my master Horde match that I did just yesterday. It's on the new map called Overload. This is not going to be an expert analysis necessarily. This is just going to be some things that I've learned through experience, because that's how I learn for the most part. So let's get into it. I decided to be Kait. So there's no challenge on this one, like no Kait or JD. And I haven't used Kait in a long time. She's now a escape character now. So I'll need to level her up because she was a maxed character. Now I'm going to need to get her level 6 card. So this will help as well. So this is Master Horde Overload. So it's kind of a cool photo right there. The main going in blind for this Horde match was interesting because this is the first time since I've actually gotten into Horde since about Operation 2, roughly, when I really got into Horde, where you didn't have to unlock modifiers. So I didn't have to waste time doing like a wave 50 only just to unlock modifiers so I can eventually get to Master. I can just go straight to Master. So that was refreshing, not to waste like a half hour doing that. So the Fab's in the middle. Something I noticed immediately was that the map is very small. If you've done free-for-all, you probably recognize this layout. Yeah, this map is very small. There's one person. What is it? I think the JD, who I didn't know. The JD is the one who ended up moving the fabricator. Honestly, didn't know where where it should go. But the JD ends up moving it. I don't know, just to, get the game over with, or if he actually played it before. But so I kind of just followed his lead there. So he moves it to one of the corners, and traditionally Kait gets the overkill from Baird because of her skill cards. So he moves it to one of the corners, and ultimately it allows the enemies only to come from 2 possible directions. Not sure where he's going now. I don't remember. Okay, this is the base where we set up. So he pulls it to that corner, and I think if you don't put the fabricator there, they spawn behind you, or they spawn there. I should say not necessarily behind you. Depends on where you're located, but they spawn there. One thing I noticed when I went to the fabricator is I was under the impression that Kait would be able to buy anything, like a Lancer GL, a Torque Bow, but I was totally shocked that I couldn't even buy an overkill. I'll double check, but I didn't see that when I went to go to the fabricator to purchase stuff. One of the things they said in the update is that Kait can, or not Kait, but the characters can buy stuff they need when they need it. And that was like something I was excited about, like, oh, I can buy, certain things or whatever with certain characters that are more fit, just to get it done, and I don't need to ask the engineer. But to my disappointment, the only thing that I saw that was new, and it may not even be new, correct me if I'm wrong, was I could buy frags. So execution rules on the master difficulty. So if I down someone from a distance, I can throw a frag, but typically JD or someone with explosives just kills that down anyway. So also wave 1 is typical normal stuff. You just kill enemies, and it's really not a big deal. No barriers, no nothing. You work till you get a forge. One thing I realize is everything in Master Horde now is going to take a lot more time. The Baird, now I have to get more familiar with this myself, but the Baird in this match said Forge costs 14,000 energy. It used to cost only 9,000 energy, so that's 5,000 more energy. So that's a delay of about a whole wave, maybe even 2 waves, depending on the situation, and depending on if your teammates are depositing. So early on, if you're not depositing for your teammates, honestly, you're really, really hurting your team. So depositing is even more and more critical than it was before. It was critical before too, and the best thing you could do if you want to win. But now it's almost like imperative. So wave 7 in a typical master match, you may have Forge 4. If you have a JD on your team, he probably has at least a level 2 locker, and then maybe a locker for one other person at level 1. We only have a level 1 locker for JD and a Forge 2. So my guess is the upgrade for Forge, which is something I also got to look into as Baird for my next video. The upgrade for Forge is possibly, more expensive as well. Typically, to upgrade Forge, it was 9,000. I don't know what it is now. I didn't get all the information I could from the Baird. But I do know that initially it was 14,000, so it's probably more than 9,000 now. So getting your Forge to 4 is going to be take a lot longer. It used to be like wave 5 or 6, and it's probably going to be close to wave 8 or 9 just to get your Forge to 4. So you may, depending on how you play, you will probably go without barriers or lockers the majority of your teammates, all the way to boss wave, which, leads for a more exciting start. And if you, and you could play this differently. Depending on, your style, you can have barriers earlier or whatnot, but I'm just so used to doing Forge 4 first, because it allows you to have a lot of energy. But even that's different in the new Horde match. So that's wave 7 so far. So here is wave 20. A little bit of skip head. We finally all have our lockers, and we have our sentries as well. But if you look in front, I don't know if you can get a good angle, we really don't have a ton of barriers. I think we may have like 6 or 7 total. So we have to do a lot of work with our bullets as opposed to the fortifications, which, I don't mind really. It's not really a huge deal for me. But maybe someone else who likes to put a lot more barriers won't like it. And then on this particular map, the enemies come quick, and it's a little bit congested. As you can see, the flock almost completely consumes me there. But it's a little congested, but you make do because, you have to. The map's small, so they spawn from 2 directions. I'm not sure if the Guardian can't get through there, but he wasn't. And, but it's a tight area. You have to find your corners, and you have to, play as a team, revive quickly. As you can see right there, honestly, when I saw it, I don't know if that DR1 spawned behind us or if he came through the barriers, but regardless, this map has a sense of claustrophobia, which is kind of cool because it adds to the stakes of the situation as opposed to bigger maps where enemies take, longer to get to you, so you have a lot more time to prepare. A map like this, they're spawning from the right and the left. I believe it's just 2 spots relative to our location. And so you have to be very, very careful not to get down and things of that nature. Keep in mind, I want you to keep, pay attention as well throughout this video, how much I'm carrying of energy and how much is in the fabricator. One of my teammates suggested I should be able to, or we should as a team, capture one of the taps. But, I've been playing Escape mainly for the last, 3-4 months, pretty much completely. So I always thought that taps were useless because you have the Forge. But it turns out the Forge, I don't know the exact optimizer multiplier, but that's got to be nerfed on some level because the energy is incredibly low. It's as if the energy's low as if none of us are depositing. And I know that's not the case because I think pretty much only the JD wasn't depositing every round. He was buying perks early for some reason, but pretty much everyone else was depositing, so it should be at least 20,000, 25,000 or something like that. Granted, things are more expensive, so maybe the energy is not going to be as high as it usually is, but it should be higher than what it is. So in this new Horde, you're going to want to capture taps. You're going to want to capture, capture as many taps as you can. If I'm not mistaken, there's some health benefits to it, and I believe there's energy benefits to it, because we didn't get, a lot of energy until we started capping taps. And I honestly just did it because I was curious to see what would happen. I didn't expect much of it. But ultimately, that's it for wave 23. Give me a second. The video cut off. Okay, and we're back. Sorry about that little technical difficulty. But wave 25, we had Sentinels. On this map, this could be very, very dangerous because, again, you're claustrophobic, and Sentinels can wipe out a whole team in a matter of moments. What we did was really just try to stay alive and take down the shields, and then I overkill them to down them, or kill them, I should probably say. With Sentinels, and something I've noticed as the game was progressing is everything just felt a little different, and I don't know exactly what it is. But enemies were bleeding slower. I read the skill cards. It didn't look like Kait was nerfed, at least not severely, not like JD was, but it looked like enemies were bleeding slower. They were taking more bullets. I can't really figure out exactly what it is that felt so off about killing Scions and stuff, because I would shoot something, then walk away, and it would still have health left, and I would just wonder, or I'd walk away and it'd bleed out like way after. So there's certain things that I may have read the skill cards wrong, and I'm still understanding a lot of them myself because for some reason they're reworded, and some of them have new pictures. So it's just something that I have to analyze moving forward. But a lot of the Horde stuff has been tamed. I'm not entirely sure why. Maybe some people were complaining about the Horde being too easy. But even with all those, hindrances, the team I was on still won on the first try. So I'm not entirely sure what the exact goal is. Maybe it is just to be, more difficult overall. But it was a harder start. But like I say in other videos, I don't play in those early waves. I don't play with a ton of barriers anyway, and that was the main thing. The energy thing was a shock, but then I eventually figured it out. As you can see here, I'm still not carrying that much energy relative to a Horde match, because I don't buy perks, because none of them are game changers as far as like movement speed or anything like that. Because my main focus when it comes down to these types of matches, because they're so long, is winning. So every action I do is in order to try to like win for my team. So I don't know. I think perks for the most part are inherently selfish. So that's why I just avoid them altogether. But as you can see here, it's wave 30, and I think we finally have a reasonably normal setup. I still don't think at this point we capped taps yet. I don't think so. But killing the carry on this map is, not difficult at all. I believe on this map, if I were to guess, you can't get the Swarmac because we get a Snatcher on wave 40. I believe the bosses you can get, are all of them except Kestrel and Swarmac. We got wave 50. No, spoiler alert. We got wave 50 Matriarch, so I know we get the Matriarch, and then we got wave 40 Snatcher. So my guess is you just can't get Kestrel and Swarmac, which for me is kind of boring, because Swarmac is probably those two bosses are my favorite to deal with because they're tougher and they add to the challenge. So here's wave 40 Snatcher, and you can kind of see how he reacts to me shooting it, and how much damage it takes. My cards for Kait, I believe I think most of them are level 5 or 4. I don't know. No, my Kait was max, so I believe, at least I think she was. The overwhelming majority of my cards are level 5. Some of them could be maybe moved up to level 6. I really just have to do more analysis, which you'll see in my next video. But killing a Snatcher really still isn't very tough. It takes a little longer, but not much longer. JD is still a very strong character, but nowhere near as strong as he was when he had 50% bleed. Now he's been reduced to 25% bleed. So that's something to also keep in mind if you want to be JD. Some people will be affected by this. Some people won't be. It just depends on your skill level or how hard you actually want to play. Because some people just enjoy, doing, one clip kills on bosses. Because I know with Matriarch Wave on in a normal situation, if it's, regardless of the wave, as JD, I would get, at least 2, sometimes 3 Matriarchs, because the Matriarch just dies so fast compared to other bosses. And if it's wave 50, I would, it'd probably be 2, but wave 10, I think wave 10 is only 1. I don't think there's duplicate bosses for wave 10 if you kill it too fast. But yeah, Snatcher's really no problem. So that's still not a hard boss. We'll see in this, in another video if Swarmac's a tougher boss on another map that I'll try. So we get wave 50 Matriarch, which she's really, really fast on this wave. But with JD, she's usually already dead at this point. You just shoot from a distance and do a bunch of GLs, and we're working on the second Matriarch. I'm not sure. I'm not JD, so I don't know what this JD's doing because the Matriarch's still on high health. I don't know if he couldn't get to her or what, but ultimately the Matriarch is is more. I think it's difficult relative to the landscape of the map. Outdoor maps are easier to shoot the Lancer GL, but definitely not indoor. Or easy. Sorry, outdoor maps are easier than indoor maps. Is what I meant to say. But something also I want to touch on is the damage. The damages that enemies take throughout the whole Horde match. With Horde, JD as an example, good JD. Well, I shouldn't say that. Some JDs will get anywhere between 12 to 14 million damage in a whole Horde match. So this JD at wave 47 or so, I think he had like 8 million. And just overall, everyone's damage was really, really low. As Kait, I usually get about 6 million damage. And I think at the end, I only got 3.7 million. So I'm not exactly sure. I mean, maybe it's all relative and it's all the same, where it takes, the same amount of time to kill enemies. But I'm not entirely sure. I'm still figuring it out myself. But this video ultimately want to give you guys an early look at this map. If you have questions about this video or have questions about anything I've said, just let me know. And if you like this style video over the long form without explanation, let me know. Comment below. And enjoy your next Horde match, guys, or escape. Just let me comment on how you like Operation 4 so far. Take it easy, guys. You have a good one.